Kevin travelled on Virgin Australia to Government House Sydney to attend the 20th anniversary of the launch of the McGrath Foundation. Staying at the Intercontinental Hotel, based in the old Treasury building and a 4-minute walk to Government House. A lot of the old features of the Treasury have been incorporated into the lower floors of the hotel. It is a peaceful and stunning location. The room was well appointed with sweeping views over the Sydney Conservatorium, the Naval Dockyard, Fort Denison, and Government House. In the late afternoon, the harbour ferries were busy on the ocean side of the famous Sydney Harbour Bridge. From this height, the conservatorium looks more like a prison than a music school. The famous Martin Place was only a 15-minute walk from the hotel. At 6 p.m. the clock tower bells were ringing as Sydneysiders and visitors headed for local bars and restaurants. The famous MJ Bale flagship store is located there. It is larger than the Melbourne stores, but Melbourne wins with its buzz and customer service. They provided a recommendation for a good, local, French restaurant Felix, and it lived up to their good description. It was early on a Thursday night, however it was busy and pumping with a very Sydney-like vibe. Friday morning sunrise was spectacular, heralding the fine day ahead. A trip to the Queen Victoria building, for some shopping and a pre-booked hot towel and wet shave as fit for a visit to Government House. True Fit and Hill were established in Jermyn Street, London in 1805. Kevin purchased his first Badger hair shaving brush from the London store in those distant days when he first started to shave. The Queen Victoria building has been tastefully restored, even down to authentic-looking male urinals, and contains many high-quality shops and cafes. It is clearly a magnet for well-heeled locals and international travelers. A very hot towel, a good pre-shave lubrication, and a glass of fine malt whiskey were all included in the shave experience. There was only one small bleed to be seen, and this had vanished before the arrival at Government House. After the luxury of a wet shave, and on the approach to Government House for the McGrath Foundation reception, a moment of reunion with Kevin's esteemed colleague, Professor John Boyages. The ballroom awaited, its tables set with elegant precision, silverware glinting beneath the chandeliers. Out on the veranda, trays of drinks stood ready, inviting conversation against the backdrop of evening light. Everywhere, a sea of pink dresses shimmered, a tribute and a cause united, as dignitaries and friends gathered. Her Excellency the Governor lent her presence, alongside Glenn McGrath himself, whose name and heart give the foundation its strength. Even the Governor's ADC was caught between worlds. A glass of champagne in one hand, a mobile phone pressed insistently to the other. In the garden, the fountain bubbled on serenely, watched over by two wild ducks who, quite sensibly, seemed to approve of the occasion. Inside Government House, the air is rich with history. Polished cedar floors glow like glass beneath the chandeliers, every board whispering of footsteps long past. Heavy doors swing open onto a space that balances formality with warmth, portraits of queens and governors keeping quiet watch from the walls. The carved cabinetry, the gilded frames, the sweep of staircase, all speak of tradition, dignity, and a grandeur that has endured the changing of centuries. Flying home at dawn, the Victorian High Country unfurled below the plain, ridges dusted in snow, valleys deep with shadow, the landscape still dreaming. It was a view fit for poets, if only poets traveled with window seats. Business class provided the day's third breakfast, pancakes, strawberries, and cream served at 30,000 feet. By this stage, Kevin felt more hobbit than human, half expecting someone to offer him elevenses before the plane landed. As the plane descended, Melbourne revealed herself. Albert Park Lake stretched wide, the Formula One racetrack sketched like a ribbon on the ground, a glimpse of speed and spectacle from the stillness of the clouds. And so the journey back to Ballan unfolded. Amusingly, the 80 kilometers by road from Melbourne stretched to the same length of time as the flight down from Sydney. It was a reminder that travel is never measured only in distance, but in patience. Kevin carried back with him the flavor of those days in Sydney. Conversations that sparked, friendships rekindled, laughter and ceremony in equal measure. What lingered was not the timetable of planes and cars, but the joy of connection, bright and fresh as the morning light over the high country.